Hey guys, welcome back to the Tuckered Mama Podcast. I'm your host, Sammy Collins, and today I thought we'd do a little bit of story time. So, we're going to do a little story time today because I just got back traveling to Florida, a 7.5, 8 hour drive with no stops. Well, that's how long it would take with no stops, about 7.5 to 8 hours. And we had stops, of course, but we were traveling to Florida to visit some family for Memorial Day weekend. So I thought it would be fun to do a traveling with toddlers story time, toddler tips and tricks for riding in the car and what we experienced. So if you've been traveling with toddlers or you have before, you know the drill. I mean, you've got to make sure you have clothes for every single day, of course, but then you have to have multiple outfits for that day. You got to make sure you got all the snacks for the car in case there's any like spills or accidents, all of the potty breaks. I don't even know, like everything else in between. So I'm just going to kind of tell you our story and what our travel days were like and our experience in Florida. My dad lives in Tampa, Florida. Well, just outside of Tampa in a town called Dunedin, super close to St. Pete, kind of that area. And yeah, I thought it would be fun just to dive into some toddler traveling. So, yeah, we started out on Wednesday, and my grandmother lives in Valdosta. So, we actually drove 3.5 hours. That's how long it takes with no traffic to her house first to spend the night because I was not about to go by myself with two toddlers the whole 8 hours. That was just very overwhelming, even just thinking that for me. So we like to stop halfway. Plus, of course, we can visit with my grandmother, and we actually ended up taking her with us. We've been doing that recently because she doesn't drive very often, so getting to take her to visit family was really fun. So getting to bring her on our travel to see my dad, which is her son, is always such a treat, and I get to spend time with her as well. So we stopped there on Wednesday night and spent the night. Well, the AC was out at her house, so it was very hot, but luckily her master bedroom had air conditioning, so we were able to push that into the room right next door, and we made it work. We were like, okay, we're already out of the car, we're just going to make this work. And she had no idea because she had appointments herself all day, so she got home and was like flustered that her air was out, and it was no big deal. But traveling to get there, the 3.5 hours, we did make one stop, I think, for a potty break. And actually my kids did great the whole time. I have a entertainment system in my car. I specifically was looking for a Honda Pilot that had the movie entertainment feature. Not that we use the movies like around town, but definitely on long road trips we will. So I've been collecting DVDs here and there, and especially at like record stores. If you don't know where to find DVDs, record stores and bookstores have DVDs for days. So every time I go in there, it's always like a jackpot for me to find kid DVDs. Like it's my own little like secret hobby that I'm doing in my secret collection, that I'm collecting these for my kids. And then of course we get in the car and I pick out, the top 5 movies that I think she's interested in. And of course she wants to watch none of them. So that was fun. And then like maneuvering between like passing snacks and answering her questions and getting the headphones like set up, because it did come with headphones, which was so nice because then I got to listen to podcasts on the front 2 car speakers. And then my son was napping also. So I was able to like set up my little travel white noise for him to nap. She had her headphones going with the movie playing because she's forward facing, he's rear facing. And then myself, I was listening through my front car speakers, a podcast that I love, another mom podcast. So that was kind of our way down there. And then we picked up my grandmother and we continued on Thursday morning down to Florida, which we ended up stopping for lunch because it was like 4.5 hours with no traffic. Well, they were not even going to be, we started around 9 in the morning and they were not even going to be home till about 3 o'clock. So we had time to kill anyways. And I realized quickly that like my daughter, when she started getting super whiny in the car, she's been a great traveler for so long, but when she started getting whiny in the car this past trip, I mean, our last long road trip was maybe last fall. And this time she got so whiny so quickly, like through the trip, and only watched like maybe one movie. And normally she's like pretty tolerant and not glued to the movie, but at least like interested in it. And she'll look at a book at the same time or one of her car activities or something. And she won't really like, you know, stress me out too much because, like a mom, whenever you hear a kid's cry or a kid's whine, it just like amplifies everything and all your anxiety because traveling is already hard and stressful enough. So I realized quickly that she was really hungry and she was not communicating that she had to pee. I guess at home, she's used to like just going to the bathroom when she wants to and feeling it. And in the car seat, she couldn't do that. So she's like, not super wiggly even. Like I couldn't pick up on any signs, but I don't think she knew how to communicate that. So we ended up stopping about an hour away from my dad's house at a Chick-fil-A that did not have a playground because not all of them have playgrounds. So here I am like, okay, 20 more minutes. Okay, 15 more minutes. We're going to get to the playground and you can go play and eat Chick-fil-A and her favorite things to do. And then, yeah, we got there and I made the mistake and I didn't realize. I mean, I knew that most Chick-fil-A's don't have playgrounds as much anymore, but we should have just opted for like a McDonald's because I know that every McDonald's has a play place. But long story short, we stopped for Chick-fil-A about an hour out and then we were able to continue on. And, we finally got there and unloaded. And it's just like a big stress reliever when you finally make it to the destination. I don't think that people actually like traveling. They like the destination they're going to, but the process of getting there, like our other option was to take a flight. The flight itself, I think, is only like an hour and 15 or 20 minutes, maybe. And then like to get to the airport from my house over here in the northeast part of Atlanta, we live in Tucker. It takes about 45 minutes, like with no traffic. So to get there, then to like check all the things you need to bring. I mean, let's talk about packing for a minute. Like I had to bring for my grandmother's house, she has no like floor bed or like, she's got extra bedrooms, but she's old school. So everything is like super high off the ground. All of her mattresses are like 3 feet tall or 4 feet tall. Like I have to climb up to get into these beds myself. So I was not about to put really either one of my kids in the bed without like a railing. So I brought both of my kids' railings from home. Then I brought a pack and play. Then I had a blow up toddler air mattress with bumpers on the side. So I had 3 different sleep scenario options because I didn't know what was going to work. My son sleeps on a floor bed at home that's about 5 inches with a bed railing on one side. And then he's like in the corner of the room. So he's got like 3 walls essentially. So I didn't know what was going to work. So I brought everything and he ended up being so cranky and angry because, of course, his normal 2.5, 3 hour nap was only 20 or 30 minutes in the car each time. So, you plan these trips around nap time and you got to learn to like go with the flow and be okay with it. But in the moment, it's like, oh my God, like just do it. So long story short, he was so tired that first Wednesday night at my grandmother's that like I slept with him in the bed and then I was able to transfer him into his pack and play, which luckily like went so smoothly and he stayed asleep for majority of the night. I was kind of worried about that because it is a much smaller space than he's used to. But I think he was just so tired that he like was done and slept through the night. Normally at home, he does wake up maybe once or twice throughout the night, but he was so tired that he slept through. And then my daughter, thank goodness for my grandmother, because we also lay with my daughter every night. So traveling is a lot. So after I got my son to bed, then I was able to take my toddler and I had to teach her, which she was really good about, how to be quiet in the room with brother sleeping and to lay down in the bed and go to sleep. And luckily, I mean, by the time I got him down, oh my gosh, it was almost like 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night. My kids normally go to sleep between 7:30 and 8. So they were both just like balls to the wall crazy because they were so overtired that they didn't know what to do. And they're running around. It's a new environment, new place, and exploring and seeing family and just going crazy. So that was that at my grandmother's. And then at my dad's, luckily they have a floor bed. So, and a lot of toys in their guest bedroom. So it was very similar setup to what we have at home. So that was way easier. And the naps were way easier because he kind of plays in his room at home. And then he'll slowly make his way to his bed and he'll fall asleep on his own. So that was all great and worked out well there. And then with my daughter, she has not napped since she was like less than 2.5 years old. So those are rest in peace. But we just did the same thing. I would put him down for bed first, and then I would take her in there super quietly. And I had like a bed railing on one side of the bed with pillows so that she doesn't roll out because she is a wild sleeper. She sleeps all over the bed. So having that bed railing there made me feel a little bit more comfortable that she wasn't going to like roll off. She's never slept without like a bed railing. We have a queen size bed for her, and same thing. It's like in the corner of the room. So she has a similar setup with the 3 walls. So just, you know, traveling is a lot, y'all. So, you're coordinating like all of the clothes, all of the nap times, and like trying to fit them closest to your schedule at home. But when you're on vacation, like those rules and those routines are out the window. You are on the go. And luckily, my son, like, he does kind of nap in the stroller every now and then. So he did once while we were there. And he's a pretty good car napper, but like, we can't just leave the car running for 3 hours. And I'm not about to drive around for 3 hours. So, like, trying to rush him back to nap, it was just a lot, it's just out of our routine, but it's so worth it. Like people, like I said, people don't travel because they're like, "Ooh, let me get on this plane and, sit next to all these strangers for so long." And I didn't even go back to that. See, I'm bouncing all over the place. But yes, so when I get to the airport in Atlanta, it takes me 45 minutes to get there. Then, who knows how long it takes to like if I weren't to bring like the pack and play and the bed rails and they had everything I needed there, then like I still brought 2 suitcases worth of clothes and diapers and like we were there almost 5 days. So I had like 6 or 7 outfits for myself, plus all of my boots because I am a wearing cowgirl boots every single day kind of girl. And then I had like all of our overnight stuff, like his sleep sacks, which luckily I brought another one because he peed in one and we had a backup. So you have to have these 2 sleep sacks that are kind of like blankets, they're pretty big. And then the diapers and then the white noises. And then I had to bring my computer and our iPad because my computer needed some work done on it and my dad was able to fix it for me. And then our iPad and our headphones, like all of that. It was 2 suitcases worth, plus my diaper bag. Plus, if I went to the airport, I would have had to have like some sort of toy bag, some sort of easy access, like snack box, like I do in my car. I keep a snack box in the front seat. It's actually like a giant cereal container filled with a bunch of smaller, like not condiment containers, but like smaller snack boxes that fit in this giant cereal box so that I can just open them and pass them one to my daughter at a time. And then I also had like a little lunchbox sitting in my middle console so that I could open up the lunchbox and all of the snacks were already open so I could pass them to my son while driving. So like moms just deserve an award for traveling. There's just so much. So then by the time you get through the airport, then you get to your flight. And then, my dad lives about an hour, maybe 50 minutes from the Tampa airport. So a little bit south. So by the time you do all that, like door to door, I honestly think it's the same travel time. Like you're doing the same stuff, but you can't bring as much stuff with you when you are going on the plane. Like I wouldn't be able to bring my pack and play. I wouldn't be able to bring my travel air mattress, which we didn't even end up using, but it is nice to know that my toddler could have had that if she needed it. And it like has the bumpers and like a nice thick mattress in the middle with bumpers on the side. It's really cool. So, and then just like entertainment, like keeping them entertained. I do think that the airport is beneficial for that because you're constantly like, my mom lives in Oklahoma. So anytime we go there, first of all, that's like a 13-hour drive with no stops straight through. So that would literally take us like 2 days and 5 hours. I'm just kidding, but it would take us so long. So we always fly there. And honestly, like she can get everything set up that we need. And so could my dad and his wife. And we could have made it work if we had chosen to fly. But when it's the same travel time, I would just rather drive. Plus, we picked up my grandmother. So that was a huge bonus. So traveling to Oklahoma, we do fly, and I think when you fly, you have more to look at and more stuff going on because you're constantly moving. But again, it takes me 45 minutes to get to the airport. Then that's like a 3-hour flight. And then my mom lives in the middle of nowhere. So that's a 2.5-hour drive just to get to her house after the airport. So needless to say, we don't really go to Oklahoma very often. So luckily, I'm so fortunate that my mom comes to see us a lot. And it's much easier for her because her children are grown and they're in high school. So it's easier for her to like slip away for a weekend or to bring them with us. But also, like, let's talk about flight prices. Oh my God, like flights are so expensive. And I would have to pay for not only myself, but my toddler too. And my son, he's almost 16 months, so he would still be like a lap baby. But um, yeah, having him in my lap just seems so much harder than like putting him in a car seat and making him like ride the 3 hours. So I'd have to pay for maybe 3 seats, and that's just crazy because they're like between $400 and $500 per person. I'd rather just drive. Not to Oklahoma. That's way too long. But luckily, my mom is very understanding and knows that like traveling with toddlers is so, so much. I mean, you're packing all these extra clothes. We were there for 5 days. And then, for the kids, I'm packing like 2 outfits a day because not only does my toddler love to like change her clothes halfway through the day, but she might have an accident, or my son might get ketchup all over himself, or, he might have an accident, or they decide to go play in a puddle when I'm not looking and they're soaking wet all of a sudden. So you have all these scenarios that could happen in your head as a mom planning. You literally want to just take half of your house. And people were joking. I have three rows in my car, and the third row was down, but the entire back of my car was full. I could barely see out of the rear window to like drive. It was so full. And then like they had their snacks and their toys below their feet, like behind the driver and passenger seat. That was full. And then also the pack and play was laying across the floor right there too. And then my grandmother was with us, so she was helping me with like switching out DVDs and snacks and whatnot. But like it was a full car. So people were joking, like, oh my God, are you about to stay here for a month? And it's like, no, bro, this is how much it takes for me to travel with 2 toddlers. It's a lot because I also had my stroller in there. Like, I don't go anywhere without my stroller. My son is nearly 22 or 23 pounds. Like I'm not carrying him around anymore. He's way too big. He's walking. The only way to keep him like contained is to have him in the stroller in his toddler seat. And after a while, I mean, we went to the St. Pete Pier, which was really cool. But after a while, my daughter wants to sit down and walk too. I mean, she's only 3.5. I get it. Like she's tired. It was so hot in Florida. We were not used to that heat and humidity. I mean, it was in the high 90s plus the humidity. It was just like, bleh. It was a lot. I don't know how. I guess when you live there, like you get used to it, but oh my word. And then the sand ants were so bad. Luckily, my stepmom had tons of bug spray and tons of sunscreen and was like really on top of everything the whole time. Like she's a super mom, and she was helping us put on bug spray and already knew that there was going to be like sand ants, because every time I go down there I literally come back like I have chicken pox all over my legs, because these sand ants will jump on your legs and bite you, and you don't notice it till like hours later. So you could totally be chilling outside like on their back patio, and you wouldn't know because all these sand ants are between the pavers, and they're jumping on your legs like right above your sock line, and like between my knee and my sock line my legs would just be covered. So that's a whole nother thing. But yes, so you're planning for all these different scenarios, and we get to Florida and it's super hot. So my daughter wants to, ride in the stroller too. So I bring my big stroller. That adds to the back of the car, plus the 2 suitcases. It's just so much. So I'm spending way too much time on that. But anyways, your schedules are out the window. And then of course, like even when you're traveling, you still have this like mental checklist in your head. Like, okay, my kids need to eat at this time. They, are probably going to be tired after this. Like we do morning activities. Like we need to get up and get going by like 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, because my son naps around like 12 or 12:30, 1 o'clock the latest. And yeah, he naps on the go. And my dad's got 2, like a 5th grader and oh my gosh, 5th grader, and I want to say a 2nd grader. I actually don't remember that, and that's sad. But yes, he's got 2 kids, and it's just like moms are so exhausted before vacation even starts. And then after vacation, you need a day to rest. Like here I am on Wednesday. I normally launch this podcast on Wednesdays, and I'm actually launching it on Thursday because I spent so much time sleeping yesterday and today, and luckily my husband was totally understandable. I have not taken a 4-hour nap in so long, and I took a 4-hour nap yesterday after traveling. When he got home from work, he came home around lunchtime, and when my son went down, I was like, listen, I'm so tired. Like, I've got to take a nap. And my son and I ended up taking a 4-hour nap because we were both exhausted. And on our way back, I have to tell you this story too, because on our way back, my daughter, so we went to my grandmother's, and we again stopped for food on the way there from Tampa to Valdosta, stopped for food because that was a 4.5-hour drive, and it was storming, raining the whole time. So that kind of slowed things down. And side note, I hate when people travel with their flashers on the highway. It's so much more distracting than you just getting to the far right lane and going slow. Do not turn your flashers on, especially in the left fast, quote unquote, fast lane. And like, you're not a first responder. You are not an ambulance. Like, you're not a police officer. Like, you cannot have your flashers on. That's so much more dangerous. But that's another topic that I get frustrated with, another pet peeve of mine. So many people were doing that in the storm, and I'm like, why are your flashers on? If you cannot drive in the rain, pull over. So it was raining the whole time. So then we get to my grandmother's, spend the night again, and then we get up and we get going. Well, on the way home, my daughter had to pee like 3 times, and she honestly did pee 3 times. Well, we stopped. So we stopped every time, of course, to make her pee. And then we get like 20 minutes down the road. She decides to stick a raisin up her nose, and it's pretty clogged up there, like pretty far. So I'm freaking out. Like there's nowhere to exit right now. And we're like, I'm trying to calm her down, but also I'm so angry because we just stopped the car. So we stopped the car finally. And luckily I had tweezers in my car, because sometimes I do my eyebrows in my car because the sunlight is great. But besides the point, and I get the tweezers and I have to like hold her down to get this ginormous raisin out of her nose. So I'm just like, oh my God, I just want to be home at this point. Like, this is crazy. Why did she stick a raisin up her nose? I don't know. Curiosity. So it was just like one thing after the next, and I was so ready to be home. And we finally got home. And of course, the whole time she's like, how many more minutes? Are we there yet? You know, can I watch one more movie? How much longer on this movie? Like, I don't want to see this anymore. Can I switch to a different movie? And it's just, all the things. So that's my kind of like traveling stories. I just wanted to come on here and do story time with you guys, and traveling like by yourself, even though I had my grandmother, she was so helpful. But traveling without my husband, like, oh my gosh, that was hard. And I'm about to do it again at the end of June for the 4th of July, but we're going to Myrtle Beach, which is not that far away. And, like once you get there, people don't travel to sit on a plane in crowded areas. They don't travel to sit in a car for 8 hours and have cramps in their legs. They travel for the memories. So I'm so glad that we went. Of course, I mean, we got to see so much of my family. We got to swim in the pool a lot. Lacey got to use her skills for swimming that she's been working on with her swim lessons. And what else did we do? We went to the St. Pete Pier, which is so cool. If you guys go down there, they had a splash pad. I mean, there's splash pads everywhere in Florida, first of all, because it's so dang hot. But there was a humongous playground. There's live music everywhere you look. Like, it's just such a cool area of Florida. I haven't been to that many places in Florida, but like the little town that my dad has found is just so sweet and so cute. And you can eat outside everywhere you go, of course, because it's Florida. And, when you're on vacation, you get ice cream every single day like we did. And you eat out for every meal. Like, we didn't really eat at home too much. Luckily, my grandmother like made some food for us. But I mean, that's just how vacation goes, So sometimes traveling alone with kids can seem really hard. But like once you get there and they can get out the car, then honestly, like getting there was so much easier. Like there was so many other people to help entertain them that I actually like got to sit back and relax for a minute. And I was never like turned off. Like, moms are always on go, but I could sit there and be like, okay, Gigi's got her for a minute. I'm going to sit here and like look at my phone for a minute without any interruptions. And okay, my son's napping. I can actually like, talk to another adult without being interrupted. So like, I don't know. I just wanted to like come on here and do a little story time. I do want to get back to our maternal mental health. I have a couple interviews set up to come, and I'm really excited to talk about like postpartum care and dive deeper into how moms are feeling postpartum and what you can do to help yourself. And yeah, I mean, that's just my hot takes on traveling with toddlers. There's a little story time for you. We also went to this really cool like children's museum that was down there. This art exhibit place that had the coolest stuff. Like I have a video coming for you guys on that place because it was just so cool. It wasn't like Montessori based, but everything was like very hands-on, very artsy, lots of problem solving activities, and it was just the coolest place. I mean, they just have all kinds of different stuff. When you go on vacation, you look forward to all these things. We've done tons of other stuff down in Dunedin before. Like Tampa Bay Zoo is really cool. They have the aquarium, and then they have this other like marine life sort of smaller aquarium that's like way more touch friendly. Like you can actually like feed the animals and touch them in the touch pool and all that stuff. Yeah, so thank you guys so much for following along and listening. I had some interviews scheduled for this week, but I just needed a second to reset. So I just wanted to come on here by myself today and pick back up next week with some more interviews and local mom spotlights. And I appreciate you guys so much for following along. The Tuckered Mama Podcast and the Tuckered Mama on Instagram and Facebook. I really enjoy bringing our mom community together, and I am really getting obsessed about maternal mental health and how we can help each other and be a village for each other. So thank you guys so much for listening. And if you're planning to travel with kids over summer, like majority of us do, it's hot, first of all. Don't forget the sunscreen. And I have lots of tips and tricks coming for you as far as like travel hacks and everything you need to travel with and not forget, a little like checklist and some really cool like beach toddler finds or kid finds that you need, like how to dust off the sand before you put on the sunscreen, the best kind of beach towels that dry really quickly, um, everything you need for like pool days. I have all of that coming in a really cool episode soon with my stepmom, Gigi. Her name is Amy, but we call her Gigi. And she's going to come on in the next couple of weeks. And she lives in Florida. She has been raising kids in Florida for almost 9 or 10 years since they moved there. So, and her kids are about 11 and 8 or 9. So, yeah, I've got that episode coming up for you. So, if you're planning to travel anytime soon, I will have all of the tips and tricks for what you need to bring to the beach or to the pool days coming very soon. And we are going to put together an Amazon list for you also to reference back and to get everything you need to prepare for your vacation. So, thank you guys so much for listening. I really, really appreciate you guys and your support. This has meant a lot to me, just like the growth I've had from January to May. I really didn't know what my focus was until about March. So from March to May, it's really blossomed. I mean, in March, I think it was March 18th, I had 36 followers on social media, and now I'm almost at 800. So it's just a small little tiny dot on the internet that I am on for, almost 800 followers. But I am so proud of myself for in almost 2 months gaining that many people and other moms who relate to my content. So I just appreciate you guys being here. I know I keep saying that, but really, truly, thank you so much for following along. And at the end of the day, traveling is chaotic and crazy, but the memories you make, and I don't get to see my family very often, maybe every 5 or 6 months. So I push through the travel part. And once I'm there, like these memories and these activities we get to do together, I don't get to do ever. But because we don't see each other very often, it makes these times very, very special to us. So push through. You can make it. Once you get there, it's totally worth it. And yeah, send this episode to a mom who's currently packing 12 snacks and, 3 different sandwiches and, you know, 5 different outfits for a day for a 3-hour road trip, because that's totally me. And message me your funniest toddler travel story, because I want to know, like, what did you guys do when you traveled? Like, when did you start traveling with your kids? I have taken my kids everywhere. I have not left them for any sort of weddings, any sort of vacations with my husband, nothing like that. Like, we've done everything together. I would not go somewhere without my kids. That's just how I am. I'm just not ready for that. And I don't think that they're ready for that, especially if you're a nursing mom. Like, that's a lot of work. Like, pumping and saving it and traveling with it, like, that's a lot. So thank you guys again for listening. I'm going to wrap it up now because now I just feel like I'm rambling, but it was so nice talking to you guys today, and I look forward to next week with you guys. So from one Tuckered Mama today, thanks for listening. See you guys.